Hey, this is Scott from MasterExcelTraining.com. Today is part 3 of our look at the if formula in Excel. Last time we looked at the nested multiple if formulas together to give us greater flexibility than a single if formula. Well, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the if formula nested with other formulas to give us even greater flexibility. And those two formulas I'm going to look at today are the AND formula and the OR formula. They're both very similar in nature, except that they mean totally different things. But if you're unfamiliar completely with the AND and the OR formula, I do have a quick video that shows you exactly how to use them both. But I think if you follow along, you'll get the gist. And you can always go back later and just, follow up with that formula just to get the exact syntax and all. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at a common problem when I try to nest multiple if statements. So this is going to be nested ifs. So I'm just going to type that up here. Nested ifs. Okay. And what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to say if, and we'll just put some criteria here. So we'll say, and this is the way we did it in part 2 of this series. So if the invoice total is greater than 200, comma, if the department is greater than, we'll say 3, comma, if we'll say the region equals west, if the region equals west, then give me back good west customer. Otherwise, give me back, not good west customer. I'm just going to make this up so I could show you real quick. And let's close those parentheses. So it looks like 1, 2, 3. And now you say, wait a minute. If it wasn't a good west customer, I wanted it to say not good west customer. So why does this say false? Let me go down again and see what happens. False. Okay. That one says not good west customer. That's good. Let's keep going here. False, false, false. And if I copy this all the way down, you can see that there's not too many that actually met the criteria. And let me show you why. And this is one of the limitations with using the nested if formulas. It works out really good sometimes, but then there's some limitations, which is why the next level is going to be to nest the if formulas with other formulas. So let me just hit F2 and I'll show you what I mean. This invoice total has to be greater than 200 for it to get to this next piece. Okay? So was it greater than 200? Yes. Then it says D5, which is the department has to be greater than 3. In this case, it's not greater than 3. So it never gets to this next piece where it's going to analyze if B5 equals west. Because if it does get there, then it says, okay, it is west. It's a good west customer. If not, it's a bad west customer. Whereas like if I made, let's just say this department 5, that'll become a good west customer. If I go back to 1, it's false. If I make this 5 and I call this, say, we'll just say east, well, this gets to the not good west customer because if I go back here, it met this criteria to 200. It was greater than 3, the department, so it did get to the last if statement, and then it was able to analyze whether this region said west or not. And then that's why it gave me the answer. So by nesting multiple if statements together, it has to pass the first if statement to get to the second. And in this case, it has to pass the first and the second to get to the third. So that's where the limitation comes in, nesting multiple if statements. So let me show you a really simple thing to do is use the if statement with other formulas. So let's use, this is going to have the AND and OR formula. And then first we're going to use the AND because I want to copy this exactly. And let me just go up here. And I want the criteria to, so we have the total invoice is going to be greater than 200. So if I come up here and I say, so I want the invoice to be greater than 200. I want the department to be greater than 3. greater than 3, and now I want the region to equal west. Okay, so that region equals west. I'm going to do this right next to this formula, the nested ifs, just so you see the difference. So here I'm going to hit if, I'm going to hit tab, and now instead of me starting to do the criteria that I want the if statement to do, I am actually going to put in a second formula, in this case the AND formula, and I'll show you why in a second. So now I'm going to say if. So for me to get, you know, if you look at an if statement, it's if this is true, do this. If it's false, do that. But now I want to go by these 3 criteria to analyze the true false value and to, you know, to give me the result. So if I say and I'll explain the syntax in a second, but if I go and, then I'm going to use these 3 criteria. So and the invoice is greater than 200, comma, the department is greater than 3, and the region equals west. Now I could say, we'll say that's good west customer, and do, you know, like not good west customer. And now again, I'm going to close the parentheses. We only have one to close this time. And so now you see that's not good west customer, same criteria. But now instead of false, this should say not good west customer, not good west. So if you see what I'm saying, the difference here is I don't need to go through 3 if statements or 2 if statements to get to the third. So that analyzed all 3 criteria in the AND statement, and then it gave me the result, not good west customer or good west customer. Actually, let's just see if there is any good west customers here. Okay. So here's one. So this should definitely, if I copy this all the way down, we should at least have one. Okay, so there is one good west customer. Not a lot going on in the west. Now here's something else. Like say you want to use the OR formula. It's very similar to the AND, except, you know, for the AND to be correct, it has to be, in this case, all 3 of these criteria have to be met. So the invoice has to be greater than 200, the region has to be greater than 3, and the department has to be greater than 3, and the region has to be equal to west. But what if we wanted to say, you know, we want the region to be west or midwest? So what do we do there? I'm going to use now the OR formula nested within the AND formula, nested within the if statement. So it just gets a little complicated, but once you get the logic down, it's pretty simple and it's super duper flexible. So let's just take a look at how this would work. So what I want to do here is we say if and this is greater than 200, the department is greater than 3, and I want to say B5 is equal to west or midwest. How would I do that? So here what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type in a formula, or hit the parentheses and say west, comma, and then I'm going to go over here and say B5 is equal to midwest. And I'm going to close those parentheses. And now if I see something that's, let's see here, there's still not too many, but you can see now some of these ones that have Midwest are now, you know, they have the good West customer. So maybe it's good West, Midwest, you know, and then maybe this is going to be, we could say this is good East customer. Good East customer. So let's just copy this down and you can see the difference. Now let's just make it a few things pop out here, because this is saying, yeah, look, this is good East customer. So we'll just say this will equal to East, just so it pops a little bit. So you can see now a lot of these ones that were formerly good west, now we say, is it west or is it Midwest? Another thing you could say is, let's just say this department, we want to, we'll just make it less than 3. This should be a heck of a lot more now. So now we have a lot. But now you can see, if you just look at this real quick, what we did here. Instead of saying, actually, let's go here and look. We had if this is equal to that, then it goes to the next statement. If that's true, then it goes to the next statement and does the evaluation. What we have done here is we said if E5 is greater than 200, if the department is greater than 3, and now we're saying if the region is either west or Midwest, then go to the evaluation. Say good west customer, otherwise east. So I think this should give you a little bit to think about and to use when it comes to using if-then formulas, right? Any questions, put it in the comments section, and I really hope this helps you out. I mean, this is something that is so flexible. It's once you like figure out the syntax of how to use the if statements with or and nested together, it's almost unlimited what you can actually analyze, so it's great. I hope this helps, and I will talk to you later. Alrighty, bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this Excel tip. If you did like this video, please hit like and please subscribe to my channel so you never miss any of my Excel tips and tricks. And please check out my complete Excel training course on udemy.com. I'm offering all of my YouTube viewers an 80% discount on the complete course. Just click the link below or use the promo code YouTube80. This course is currently 8 hours long and is broken down into 3 sections. You have the basics and beyond, then you have section 2, ultimate reconciliation and analysis, and lastly, pivot table domination. So check it out, click the link, and save 80%. Till next time, this is Scott, signing off.